say yes if you can hear me well, hopefully, and then we can take from there. Yeah, thanks for joining me in this next hour. The plan is, as you can see here, is to have a good understanding on the some kind of piece of technology available on Office 365 for us to have a better understanding on the GDPR. Anyway, if we haven't met, yeah, I'm Jackson Sheldon, one of the trainers here in New Horizons and the IT manager. As you can see, my email address is there. If you want to take note and later on send me some emails, we can always exchange some ideas, and if I can help you, I'll be happy to do that. If you want to connect on LinkedIn, yeah, that's my address as well. And by the way, guys, everything you are seeing here from my presentation, you will get later on email, and then just to make your life a little bit easier, you don't need to take a note, and then Sheldon will send my presentation later on. And the recording is, we are recording this session as well, and then you can go over again and hear and go through the steps. Okay, yeah, just a little bit about my background. Officially, I started in IT back in 1991. And I did loads of work on top of Novell Network. And then around kind of 1996, I moved to Microsoft. And now for the last couple of years, I've been kind of following the Microsoft products on servers and Exchange and SharePoint. I kind of had my first experience on Office 365 back in 2012. And then in 2013, I moved everything I could here from New Horizons to Office 365, our SharePoint and SharePoint, our mailboxes and things like that. And I kind of started on Azure around 2014. And yeah, now these days I'm kind of working hard enough on top of Office 365 and Azure and of course Exchange, SharePoint and other bits and pieces as well. And yeah, our kind of next 1 hour, we will talk about those four subjects. The first one is to go through the security and compliance on Office 365. The next one is do a bit of understand the tools to do discovery and have a better control on the data that is available on Office 365. And then I will show you how to do, how to perform some searches. And kind of could be better than that, how you can find information and even you can delete. Eventually, if one of your customers put a request saying, oh yeah, I don't want to appear in your emails on your kind of, database anymore, yeah, no problem at all. I will show you later on a couple of commands or a procedure to find specific information about a person or whatever the search you are performing. And then when you get the result, yeah, the second kind of PowerShell command you can run on top of that to eventually to delete that information. It's really, really nice. And yeah, the third subject is some features for GDPR on top of SharePoint. Yeah, we could easily talk about SharePoint for the next probably 3 or 4 days. And then I kind of prepare some key things related to, for example, you can auto-delete sites when they become old, or you can set some files to be archived or to be moved to a different place or to be deleted or to be set in a hold to make sure nobody can delete. Really nice. Initially can be a little bit challenging to kind of find the where to set that configuration, but it's great. And on my presentation there are loads of screenshots, and as I said, you will get my presentation later, and then hopefully it will make a little bit easier for you to go back and kind of implement a couple of things I will demo today. And the last one is about Exchange. Yeah, a couple of features as well. For example, one simple one but important, by default any user can easily go to Outlook and then have a full export from the mailbox, and then that could be a bit of disaster, kind of walk away with a couple of gigs on emails with some sensitive information. And then we can do that as well, kind of make sure the users can't export their mailboxes to a PST and kind of walk away. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have organized for us to go through on the next hour. If you want to keep kind of, learning, yeah, today I'm running this 1-hour session on GDPR, or let's say Office 365, and then tomorrow my colleague called David, same story, at 1 o'clock we'll run a nice introduction on PowerShell. If you want to get some info on top of that, yeah, you are welcome to come back. Sheldon will send you, there is, yeah, probably we still have spaces, and then later on Sheldon can send an email with a link for you to enroll yourself. And if you want to have a better understanding on Azure AD, and then I'm back on October 5th, again, 1 hour to talk specifically about Azure AD, Azure AD domain service, and how to do replication. And yeah, there are quite a lot of things for us to talk on top of that. And finally, on October 18th, and then I will run again a 1 hour presentation on migration paths to Azure. Yeah, especially if you're looking to migrate some VMs or some stuff to Azure. Yeah, in these days there are so many different ways to kind of to approach. And then I will prepare some demo and some slides as well, hopefully to help you to find the best path to migrate things to Azure. Okay, and yeah, guys, just a quick thing on your on the Skype for Business interface. On the top right, okay, if you look, there are 2 buttons there. The very one on the right-hand side is if you want to set as a full screen, okay, just to have a better view from my presentation here. And then the second one, the second button is if you click there, there is an option presentation. Oh, no, I think it's kind of presenter profile or presenter is kind of just to get rid of my picture. I believe you are still seeing my picture on one of the corners, and yeah, just click on those 2 buttons to make your interface a little bit better. Okay, yeah, anyway, just a bit of introduction. Now let's go into the main subject. Okay, the first is introduction on security and compliance. Bit of what is GDPR, and then what's the journey to basically achieve that compliance, and then the GDPR Toolbox, and of course, based on a couple of things I will show you, for example, how to search information, how to delete information, how to export information from Office 365. Of course, you need permissions. Initially, even if you are the global administrator, you won't have full permissions to do everything. And then you need to go there and add you in a couple of groups. And then from there, basically, you can start kind of doing the configuration. But yeah, I will show you in 2 seconds. Yeah, anyway, probably you already know, I just took some kind of text here from Microsoft. The idea from GDPR is to make sure the companies have a better understanding, a better management from any personal data. And eventually, if somebody is not happy, could contact your organization and ask to have that information wiped off from your system. Actually, I got so far, yeah, 1 request so far. My director sent me one of our, or let's say somebody basically got an email from us and eventually replied back saying, I don't want to get any more email, and following the GDPR kind of, let's say, law, I demand all my information should be deleted from your company. And yeah, that's fine. Basically, I just run 4 PowerShell commands, and as I will run a quick demo in a few seconds, and easily enough, I was able to get rid of all the emails sent from that person, all the emails we sent to that person, any file on our SharePoint with reference to that particular person, and really, really nice. Microsoft basically worked hard enough, and they added a lot of new features on Office 365, basically to make GDPR kind of work. The 4 steps here is kind of first, discover the type of information you have available on your Office 365, and then manage, protect, and later on report. In this case, discovery, based on the quick example I gave, if somebody is looking to find a particular information, yeah, there are lots of searches basically we can perform to find out exactly where that information comes from. It could come from files or some posts on SharePoint. It could come from different emails or calendars on Exchange Online, or it could come from kind of some instant messaging from Skype for Business. And then our idea is to be able to understand where the information is, and then it's up to you. In terms of kind of how can you manage that information. You can have a couple of options. One is to delete the information. Maybe that's not relevant anymore. You can push a button to delete information, or could be the opposite. You want to make sure that information is available for the next 7 years or 1 year or whatever is is the time. And yeah, really nice. I will show you a couple of options from SharePoint and Exchange, how you can find that information, eventually make sure that that file or that email is kept for 7 years or 1 year or so on. Or the opposite applies as well. You might be creating a couple of things, a couple of sites or files into, for example, SharePoint, and you want to make sure after 1 year those things are deleted. Yeah, no problem at all. We can do that. And finally, there are a couple of reports we can get just to have a better understanding how things are kind of performing or running on top of Office 365. Guys, here I just, this is very updated. I would say I got from probably 2 days ago. I got this picture. If you are wondering and maybe a little bit worried, saying, oh, yeah, not sure, maybe my or our mailboxes, they are in America, or maybe they are in Asia, they are in Australia. Anyway, if you go to just do a quick search exactly with that title, where is your data or where is your Office 365 data located? Eventually you will get to that link, and then as you can see, you can pick the area or the, in this case here, Europe. And yeah, the 4 main places are in Ireland, Netherlands, Finland, and Austria. And here I have a, look here, basically all the Exchange online content is basically runs from Austria, Finland, Ireland, and Netherlands. Okay, OneDrive for Business, SharePoint, and as you can see, if you are kind of in Ireland, we are in a good position. Basically, pretty much comes from Ireland, okay, or can be stored in Ireland. If I go to my next slide, yeah, here we have a better picture for other things as well, for example, Microsoft Teams and the Planner and OneNote and things like that. As I said, this comes from, let's say, 2 days ago, and Sway is still only available or running from United States, and Yammer, yeah, is still only on United States. But the good news is the big ones like SharePoint and Exchange, yeah, they are, here in Ireland. Okay. And then, guys, now what is becoming more and more powerful is exactly the security and compliance page. Okay, as I said, I've been working with Office 365 since 2012. And, before, for example, if we were looking to search for, a particular email, search for a particular file on SharePoint, we had the eDiscovery. eDiscovery, has been up there for a couple of years. And now Microsoft is changing. Before, in order to search for any email, basically we had to go into Exchange tool and then perform the eDiscovery from there. If I wanted to search anything on SharePoint, I had to go to to use the eDiscovery from SharePoint. And then Microsoft, what they did is eventually they created this place called Security and Compliance, and loads of things that before they were available only from the Exchange interface or from the SharePoint interface, now they are kind of available here as well. And then depending what you are looking to do, you will still have 2 places to go, and then you could come here to, for example, perform an eDiscovery, or you could go to the Exchange server. The advantage if you come to into the security and compliance, and then you have more flexibility because you can search, and then you could easily pick from where you want to search the data, and then you can pick only from Exchange or only from SharePoint or maybe from everywhere. It means Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive for Business, and so on. And as I will show you later on, Now, if you go to the e-discovery on the Exchange, from the Exchange management tool, there is a note coming from Microsoft saying, oh yeah, we are still kind of thinking to move the e-discovery only into the security and compliance page, and eventually they have planned to remove from SharePoint. But, or sorry, from Exchange. But yeah, anyway, basically that's the place for you to come. And initially can be a little bit challenging because there are loads of things here for you to test, for you to get familiar, especially if you are kind of new in the business. But of course, just need to kind of make some tests and make sure you have a good understanding and make sure you are on top of what you are doing, because otherwise it could be a bit of a disaster if you kind of configure something and eventually after a month or after 2 months things could disappear because there was a mistake on your configuration and now things are auto delete and gone from the system. Then can be a little bit dangerous. Yeah, anyway, there is something called I will run a quick demo in 2 seconds, something called GDPR Toolbox. And then eventually, if you go there, I wouldn't say that step by step, but here is the kind of the main steps to help you to implement or to get better into the GDPR configuration. Okay, the first one, for example, the first step is if you are, just 1 second, guys, yeah, if you are looking here, is the import. Okay, is the import data, and then a couple of, let's say, tools and step by step, how can you import your data from your on-prem to Office 365, and then eventually when the data is there, the next step is to find, okay, any personal data. And then here I will run a couple of demos, as I said before, to find anything related to Jackson Sheldon, to find anything related to, I don't know, reports from sales on 2018 and things like that. And then from the next step, there are some kind of advanced enough things like the auto apply labels. You can do basically add labels in different type of information, and then based on those labels you can easily enough later on to set an archive or set auto delete, or you could maybe move things around and so on. Very powerful. For example, here the system is able to identify what could be, for example, possible a credit card kind of details. Because of course, as you know, any credit card details comes from a 16 kind of digit number combination, comes from an expiration date, comes from the CVC code and things like that. And then the system is intelligent enough to find emails that follow kind of that structure, find any files that contain that structure, and then the system will label those things, and then after labeling you can basically perform the action that, as quickly I said, could be to auto delete or auto archive, or make sure people can't send emails with a credit card details out of your organization, and things like that. But as quickly I said at the beginning, in order to search information, in order to apply policy, in order to kind of configure things to be auto-deleted or archived and things like that, one of the first things you need to do is to make sure you or the person who will do the implementation has the proper permissions. And then if you go from the compliance page, as you can see in this screenshot, on the left, under the permissions, yeah, and then here, guys, there are loads of different roles, okay, and then each of those roles, they have already a couple of assigned roles, in this case kind of the built-in permissions. And one of the very powerful from this point of view is the compliance administrator. And then, of course, the compliance administrator is pretty much able to do anything when it comes to these things we are talking now. For example, search information, to add label, to delete information, after the search, and things like that. If you are looking for somebody only to be able to search information, then it's kind of more related to the e-discovery manager and so on. But as I will run a quick demo in a few seconds, eventually when you click on each of those names, okay, and then here you will see what are the permissions already assigned for that particular role. And on top of those pre-built and ready to go roles, yeah, of course, as you can see, there is a button here, okay, to create your own roles. Then eventually, if you're looking for something very specific that is not available yet, yeah, no problem at all. Add whatever the name you want, and then you can add, you know, for that particular name, whatever the permissions you want, and then basically you take from there. There are loads of documentations. If you go, for example, if you're looking to have somebody, could be yourself or somebody else, with a set of permissions to be able to go into the GDPR toolbox, and start kind of performing the configuration. Yeah, there you go. For example, if you're looking for somebody to be able to import data from your on-prem into Office 365, yeah, and then actually there is a role, okay, specifically for a kind of permission to import or export data. And then you can go there and manually give this information. Somebody looking only to kind of, you know, find, search for personal data, yeah, then, you know, this is the minimum permissions you need to give. If I'm looking for somebody to be able to find information, very easy. I just need to add that person into the e-discovery manager role, and then, you know, eventually that person will be ready to go to perform any search. Then if you are looking for, you know, the full picture, yeah, here at the bottom, you can see the link, and as I said at the end of my presentation, Sheldon will send you the link, send you my presentation, and then you can have a better understanding. Okay, just let me run a quick demo here, guys. Let me switch from my presentation to my kind of real browser. Okay, 1 second, you should get hopefully in 2 seconds. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, hopefully now you can see my page. Okay, basically, if I go, okay, from my Office 365 Central Admin, okay, and then under Admin, okay, yeah, there is this place called Security and Compliance, okay, and then when you click there, basically you go to this page. Here, as you can see on the left, loads of different things for you to go through. One of them, as I just was talking about, is the permissions. And then if I click there, as you can see, these are all the pre-built permissions. And if you are wondering, for example, what sort of roles are available into the compliance administrator, yeah, if you click there, yeah, there you go. As you can see here now, all of these roles, okay, are available. And then here you can see as well who are the members for that role. And of course, if you're not happy, you can simply click on edit and then add or remove, you know, different people. For the moment, I added only my kind of built-in Office 365 administrator, but yeah, that's the place to go. As I just said, if you're looking to create a particular role, maybe with not too much permissions to do a specific task, yeah, no problem at all. You can basically just click on create, add the name, and then as you can see on the left, choose the role, choose the members, review, and click next to create a kind of brand new role on your organization. Okay, and then just as quickly I said, even if you are already the Office 365 Global Administrator, if you try to do some kind of big search and things like that, by default it doesn't work. First you need to add yourself on that role. Okay, other things you can see, for example, under the alerts, you know, if you are just wondering, saying, okay, but it kind of doesn't make sense. If I am the Office 365 Global Administrator, why I don't have permissions straight away to do whatever I want? Because, guys, look here. Basically, I haven't configured these alerts. It came up automatically. What's happening here, I got 3 alerts out of the box, you know, from my system. One of them is that happens on 16th, okay, 17th, and then 18th. If I click on this one here, create forwarding redirect rules. Yeah, very important, because you could have maybe a user on your organization that goes easily into the Outlook, set up a rule to automatically forward any income email to his or her mailbox to Gmail or Hotmail or maybe a competitor email address. And yeah, because that's from the GDPR point of view, something very big. Yeah, very good. Basically, if anybody does that, set up a forwarding for any incoming email to an external email address, basically this alert will catch straight away. And as I said, I haven't done any configuration. This is already built in out of the box. Okay, and then yeah, I need to say I did myself. I set a auto forwarding for my admin at nhireland.info because I was just testing to get some data, and that's very important. A second interesting thing was, something happens regarding the permissions. Yeah, very important. This was exactly what I did myself. I basically added my global admin, that is the admin at nhireland.info. I gave, let's say, full permissions into the Exchange system, into the, those roles. And then same story, okay, the system catch that by default and is available now here for a possible auditor, okay, to come and maybe ask, okay, Jackson, what's the story? Why did you add yourself into that particular role? Because, nobody from the organization asked that. This is why, really nice. And then, of course, you can come here into the alerts and policy. A part of those built-in things, you can come here and set your own policy to kind of, be on top if something big happen regarding the kind of, permissions and things like that. If I go specifically now talking about mail flow, okay, same story, I can go to mail flow and go to dashboard from mail flow. And yeah, kind of a very easy, quick way to see how many emails I already got in, how many emails went out. Guys, I forgot to tell you, this subscription, this Office 365 account I'm using is just a kind of, demo account I'm using here for training. It's not my kind of real New Horizon stuff. This is why I have only 25 emails in and 1 email out. But yeah, anyway, this is what I have today. And one more time as well. Okay, because I've set auto forward message, yeah, easy enough I can see here. And if I just wonder, who did that configuration, if I click, yeah, and then I have about information again, same story. The admin at NH Ireland have set auto forwarding, okay, for an external email. That's nice, nice to go, nice to see. Sorry. And then, as I was saying, if I click into the GDPR dashboard, okay, oops, let's try, yeah, there we go, okay, and then here would be some main steps, okay, you should be on top in order to kind of improve your GDPR compliance configuration. As I said, the first one is just to import the data. Here, find information. I will show you in a few minutes. This one here is very powerful to kind of do a bit of messaging, information classification. Okay, and then having that classification, you can take actions and some very kind of powerful things. You might seen this before, the DLP, okay, the data loss prevention. For example, I can give you an example. If I go to the DLP, here, I was just adding a couple of things. I could click on create a new policy. Okay, and then we have, for example, if I click on financial, here are some templates. Unfortunately, there is nothing built in, ready to go specifically for Ireland. Okay, there are some stuff for Canada and France and Germany and US and UK and stuff like that. But for example, if I get kind of close enough, if I get UK financial data, from this DLP, the system is able okay, out of the box, I wouldn't say out of the box, based on this pattern, is able to identify information that is possible from a credit card number, okay, from, let's say, the SWIFT code and things like that. And then, for example, if somebody sends an email, okay, by the way, here are my credit card details for the payment. and then easily the system is able to catch that information. And then from Exchange, from the Exchange mail transport rules, okay, you can set rules. For example, if the system catch very critical information like that, end users are not able to send emails out of the organization. That could be okay to send for internal emails, but it shouldn't go out. Or that could be an exception. I am allowing the finance team to send things between them, but not for other, email addresses and so on. And yeah, that's really, really, really nice. If you are looking for something not available here, and then of course you can go and click on custom, and then you could build your own custom configuration. For example, based on the Irish kind of, PPS number, maybe, addresses or driver licensee, or, things related here for Ireland. Okay, yeah, this is from the DLP, and then when the DLP is configured, up and running, and then you can take some actions, okay, on top of that. Okay, that's just a quick thing regarding the DLP. But I would say, guys, after my presentation, that will be the place for you to go. Okay, just click on the GDPR Toolbox, and then it's Toolbox, sorry, and then from there start exploring. Okay, what are the options, and then later on you can get some reports and have a better understanding how the data has been classified on your kind of organization. Okay, that's just a quick introduction. Now let me go quickly back to my presentation, and then I will show you in 2 seconds a very nice and very important thing. How can you basically perform some, let's say, searches, and when you find the information you are looking for, and then you could delete information, you could set in hold, or things like that. Anyway, now the next quick module here is regarding the intelligent tools to discover and control your data. Okay, another place, okay, you should go is the Trust Center. Okay, there are loads of links for that will guide you. Okay, for you to have a better understanding how you can implement things on Office 365. And then I will show you the content search, e-discovery, and there is a quick example about the DLP as well. Okay, yeah, anyway, very quickly here, if you just search, go to that link, or just search for Microsoft Trust Center, and yeah, very nice, especially if you are kind of new here on the business, on Office 365 when it comes to the compliancy. For example, if you click on those 4 main areas, the first one, that is discovery, yeah, and then there are 4 links. Okay, the first one is content search. Okay, a really nice documentation to show you how to build your own templates to search for information you are looking for. If, for example, you want to search information and lock that information to avoid anybody to delete that thing, yeah, no problem. You could use the advanced search with the e-discovery, and so on. And then the same story later on if you click on manage and protect and reports. Yeah, there are yeah, that will be the place to go if you are kind of pretty new on here, okay, in this business. Okay, anyway, finally let me show you, okay, how you can perform a search. Okay, and yeah, actually let me show you here straight away, okay, how it works. And then yeah, anyway, I have some examples here. Okay, just a second, let me just share again my window, 1 sec. Okay, here. Okay, as I said, if you have been working quite a while with SharePoint and, for example, Exchange, okay, we can perform search specifically on Exchange, search specifically on SharePoint. But the good news is if you come into the security and compliancy, and then, for example, go into the content search, okay, if you click there, and yeah, there you go. Here will be now the kind of master place where Microsoft is moving pretty much, everything, okay, into this this place. I was playing just to make sure, I have some content to show you. Here's the place. But if you are starting from the scratch, as the kind of the name suggests here, if you click on the new search, okay, just click there, and then you can add, oh yeah, I want to see, I don't know, credit card details. I want to see any related to Jackson or anything related to payment, or maybe guys, let's say there is a kind of virus spreading fast from email, and then you could get what is exactly that email subject, and then eventually search for all emails across the board, maybe in thousands of possible mailbox you might have, and then find those emails and delete them straight away. Anyway, any keyword, okay, you can just kind of, okay, you can type here. Or if you want to add a particular condition, okay, oh yeah, is only, if the sender or author is Jackson, if the size is, whatever is the size, if the subject, okay, is that particular thing, and so on, okay. And then as you can see, some specific searches or conditions, sorry, okay, some specific conditions, okay, you can get from here. And then when you are happy with the keywords and with the conditions, very nice. The next step is for you to specify the location. Okay, if you click on all locations, and then as the name here suggests, I'm talking about all locations from kind of Office 365 point of view. Okay, or you can click here and then click on modify. And then look, this is brilliant. Okay, say, oh yeah, there you go. I want to make sure I'm looking for anything specifically from Exchange. And then if you want, you can select, for example, only some mailboxes or some kind of Skype accounts. If you are looking for SharePoint, same story. Okay, I could enable for all the SharePoints, sites and document library and stuff, or I could click on choose site, and then click on the choose site one more time, and then basically just select, I think I have a Jackson Lab, I think I have, okay, and then basically you could search specifically for a particular, I think I deleted that site already, but yeah, you got it, okay? Basically then select what you are looking for, and then eventually, push the button, or if you want to get information from everywhere, okay, just, push the button from there. And then, okay, let me get here, Jackson, oops. Okay, Sheldon, just keep kind of simple, and then click on search, okay, and then search the run. Okay, all about, oops, 1 second, guys. Okay, and then click on save. And then eventually, now it runs straight away. Okay, and then I should get, some result in few minutes. Or of course, if I go back to here and then click on, okay, content search, I have some stuff here already, just to make sure, I don't lose too much time. Okay, and then if I go to, for example, okay, yeah, let's say maybe there is a kind of bad email called, bad files called World Cup Fantasy League, and then, if I click there, yeah, I performed this thing, I think last night at some stage, and then as you can see, yeah, that was the query, very simple query, just looking for anything, okay, with that string. And yeah, the system was able to find eventually 27 items, okay, and search on 78 different mailboxes. And if you click on view result, okay, I can click on there, and then yeah, there you go. And then guys, for example here, this is a file from my yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is a file from my SharePoint. Okay, here I have and then of course here on the right-hand side. Okay, you can see. And then if I click, look, this is brilliant. If I click on the download original item, if I click there, and then yeah, I'm able to kind of if I want, I can download. Actually, it was just a text file. I was just testing, and then that was a text file somewhere on my SharePoint. Okay, I was able, okay, to get. Same story down here. I have a possible email. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Alex Weiber eventually sent an email. Here is the email. Okay, and eventually here is exactly, okay, the text, okay, from where I'm searching, for. And same story, I can click on download. And yeah, as you can see here, I can download kind of, Outlook file with exactly that email address. Okay, that's brilliant, 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 brilliant. And what Microsoft did, as I quickly said, now I can perform search across the board. I don't need to go to SharePoint and get stuff from there. Then search on Exchange, get stuff from there. No, 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 no. Just come into the security compliancy, go to search, and then you are sorted. Okay. Maybe, guys, what you are looking for, and this is what I did exactly when my director requested from me, was to find, let's say, to find a particular information and to delete the information straight away. Okay, let me run a quick demo here. 1 second, I just need to share my desktop probably. Okay, now let me run a PowerShell command here. Okay, let me see. Hopefully, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Okay, guys, yeah, sorry for I'm kind of, a bit lazy. And you will get this from my presentation. Here is the procedure to find information from PowerShell. Okay, the first one is new compliance search. Okay, the name is remove emails from or to, okay, Jackson. Okay, and then, here basically is the string, anything from Jackson and to Jackson. Okay, I want to search. Here I just created the search. Here now I'm running the search. Okay, next command, the get compliance search, is to make sure the search run in, now is completed. And then finally, okay, the next one is, I want actually to delete anything, okay, from Jackson. And let me show you here, guys. Okay, this is the, one of the internal email addresses. As you can see, I have the, a couple of emails from Jackson here, 3 or 4 emails from Jackson. And now eventually, if I run that quick procedure, okay, I should be able to get rid of them. Yeah, sorry, not going to type, just to try to save a bit of time. Okay, first command, okay, that basically created the search. Okay, now the second command is to start, okay, the search. Okay, there you go. Now the third command, of course, if you have a huge amount of data, and then the next command eventually is to just make sure the search, as you can see here, okay, the search is completed. Now look here, if I go back and check my emails, look, the emails are there because, of course, I just searched for them, but I haven't deleted anything. And then finally, the next one is when I'm happy and now I want to get rid of them, rid of any information regarding, emails from Jackson or to, oops, sorry, just something went wrong here. Just let me copy and paste again. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, and then eventually enter. Okay, are you sure you want to get rid of everything? Yes. Okay, again, if you have a huge database, it might, take a while for that. And now if I go back to my emails, yeah, can see, okay, all the 3 or 4 emails from Jackson, they are all gone. Guys, simple like that. Okay, and the same, if you look here, my PowerShell command, eventually I'm just look for the Exchange location. Okay, but if you go to the explore a little bit further these parameters, you will find for SharePoint location, for Skype for Business location, and things like that. Brilliant. And to be honest, this is exactly what I did when we got a complaint from one of the guys who call New Horizons, and then my director just sent me an email with those kind of, with the email address. And this is exactly what I did to kind of get rid of all of that, that thing. Okay, that's great. Now let me just go back and explore a little bit of, some more interesting things. Let me just go back to my quick presentation here. Okay. And then, of course, guys, now we could keep talking about, we could keep talking about that search and e-discovery and things like that, for maybe the next 4 or 5 hours. Here I have some screenshots again, okay, just for you later on when you try to do yourself, for you to remember, where to go. But yeah, please spend a bit of time here to understand the search. And eventually, if you have the right search, it's brilliant. Really, really, really nice what you can do. And as I just did on my example, okay, find the information, you can label the information, and then you can decide what to do with the information. For example, what I did, get rid of everything, okay, from that particular, user. Yeah, here are exactly, okay, the commands, those commands I run. Okay, I'm just, pretending here something from Paul Smith. Okay, from Contoso, and then later on when you get my presentation, you can copy and paste and just adapt for your organization, and then you are sorted. Okay, that's great, guys. That was a bit of introduction from the compliance page on Office 365. Now I want to go through a couple of slides on SharePoint. Okay, how can you basically use SharePoint to achieve a bit of compliance as well? There are loads of things here. Maybe, to be honest, I went far away too much, okay, for a 1 hour webinar, but the idea is for you to walk away with a good understanding, hopefully you can go implement yourself. Let me show you a couple of things, okay, we can do. Okay, for example, guys, the starting point is for you to, you have two options, okay? Okay, guys, what I'm talking about now is the following. I want some sites, for example, to be auto-deleted after a year. Or I want to have some information, okay, could be files from different document library. When they are older than a year, they must be moved to a different place. Or if they are older than 2 years, they must be deleted, or they must be archived, or whatever you want to do. First of all, a kind of important decision for you is to decide if you want to do that from something called records or records center. Okay, basically this is a site collection where all the information, if you are looking to have a better control, to auto-delete or auto-archive or auto-move and things like that, everything should go into the record center. Okay, or the second option is, no. You guys have already a kind of big and complex environment on SharePoint. You don't want to move things around. And then what you can do is basically just, you need to enable a SharePoint feature called in-place record management. And then when you do that, the brilliant stuff what you can do is you can go, for example, into a document library and then set the policy in a specific document library, saying files older than a year, delete. Files older than 6 months, move. And whatever you want to do. And you can do, if you want, you can, for example, if you are looking to hold information, same story, okay? When the file reaches, a particular time or a particular kind of, time, for example, and then you can block deletion or block, make sure nobody can edit, okay, that thing. Guys, talking specifically about site, I've been teaching quite a lot SharePoint for the last couple of years. And especially big companies, quick enough, they end up having, hundreds or maybe dozens or hundreds of sites. And no problem at all. Look what you can do. Basically, first, from a kind of site collection template, you you configure the site policy. Okay, the site policy, as I kind of, set up here myself. Okay, I want to auto-delete sites after 3 years. Yeah, no problem at all. Of course, that on the top is only the name. And then, those 3 years can be 3 years on top of the last modification, or 3 years, okay, that starts counting when the site is created. Okay, when, the 3 years are approaching, of course, we will get an email 3 months in advance, okay, and then 14 days. And the administrator can kind of, postpone the deletion for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or so on. And then the step number 1 for you is to go to your site collection configuration, create, whatever is the policy variation. And then when you have that done, the next step you need to do is very simple. Just go to the sub-site or the site you are looking for, go into the site closure and deletion, and then have a guess. Okay, here now you have the option to pick whatever is the policy. Okay, after a year, after 2 years, whatever is the policy. And that's it. Eventually, when the time comes, Okay, when the time comes, yeah, the site will be auto-deleted after a couple of notifications, auto-deleted. Or guys, what you can do as well, if you want to close the site, okay, for example, it's a project, you had a site and the project is gone. Now you don't need that project anymore. You don't need that information anymore. You can, for example, close that site. Close that site means based on your policy, the site will be set as read-only. And then when the time comes for 3 years, and then the site will be deleted. Okay, that's nice what you can do. What you can do. Pretty much very simple. Okay, so 2 steps. First, create a policy or the policies. And then second is go to each site and subsite and assign the policy. If you're looking for templates, guys, there are, as you can see here, loads of very interesting specific templates for compliance. Okay, for example, yeah, e-discovery center, the record center, the compliance policy center, and things like that. For example, if you set up a new, you need to set up actually a new site collection compliance center. And then what you can do is you will have the compliance center with 3 options, as you can see here on the left. Okay, the deletion policies, the policy for an entire site collection, and a policy for a template. What I quickly showed you, let's say 2 seconds ago, was basically to set a policy and then to assign, for example, for subsites. But if you want, you can assign policy for a site collection. Okay, same story. What you need to do is go and set up the new policies. For example, auto delete after a year. You could delete and allow recovery, or you could permanently delete. And then the next step, what you can do is, if you go to the policy assignment, you can assign that policy to a site collection. And then, yeah, there you go. After, whatever the time I picked there, the site collection will be deleted. The entire site collection, okay, will be deleted automatically. The other very interesting thing you can do is to set up a policy to a site template. And then, in this case, this shortcut, this screenshot here, what's happening is basically every new site creating, okay, from the team site, okay, will come with a configuration, let's say, done to be deleted in 2 years, 3 years, or so on. Okay. Anyway, that's one more interesting thing you can do when looking for, looking to kind of auto-delete or auto-archive or auto-close sites. Guys, I'm not going to talk about the record center, but basically, yeah, you could create a record center and then to have a single place to do all the information management. Okay, and then, for example, any data on your kind of, site collection will be available, forever, but anything you are uploading into the record center, and then you will have a treatment, okay, to auto-delete, auto-archive, or things like that. And then, we don't have time to talk much about that. You could do a kind of quick study later on. But what I want to show you is how to do the kind of, how to manage that information on record management, okay, on the site you are already kind of managing. The first thing you need to do is basically to implement you need to enable, the in-place record management. When you have that implemented, brilliant. Okay, what you can do is if you go to any site collection, okay, just go to the site collection information management policy, and then you need to click on change source. Okay, when you do that, basically you can say, no, I want to have a specific kind of retention policy for this document library. And then you just need instead to take that configuration from a content type you get from a library settings. And then guys here, brilliant. Okay, if you click on the add retention stage, there you go. Here is the option. Okay, and then you can say, okay, when I'm talking about a document library, when a file, okay, is created and reaches, for example, a year or 6 months or whatever the days you want, and then here we have quite a lot things you can do. Okay, move to the recycle bin, permanent delete, transfer to another location, start a workflow, delete the previous draft delete, all the draft, and so on. Anyway, guys, that will be the place, okay, for you to come if you want to kind of, have a bit of compliance in a specific, for example, document library. Go to the document library information, change the information management policy, okay, later on, change to library and folder, and then here you add, whatever is your retention policy or archive policy or deletion policy, and things like that. Okay, it's not too complicated, but of course you need to do maybe one or twice, just to be on top. The second option, a little bit more complicated, is to achieve that from the content type. Okay, I have here all the information, but guys, the idea is the following. Basically, we do that, we configured to auto-move, auto-delete, start an archive or something like that for a specific type of content. And then the outcome, guys, 1 second, okay, the outcome is this, okay? When you set up that compliancy for a content type, from now on, every time when somebody from that document library creates a document using the template, okay, that called in my presentation here, sales document, there you go, the document will be deleted in 2 years, or the document will be, any document created from this template will be moved to an archive, location after 6 months, or, will be put it in hold, and things like that. And then, of course, you could have different types of content in a different kind of, compliance configuration for each of the content. When you do the first time, it looks a little bit, tricky, a little bit, challenging, but it's not too complicated. And I have all the steps here in my presentation. You'll be able to implement yourself later on if you follow the steps. Look, when my document is already created, okay, if you go to kind of, just extend the properties, go to more, and then compliancy, and yeah, there you go. This document will be kind of deleted or will be moved to the recycle bin, okay, when it reaches 1 year. But when somebody creates, a different document, that document could stay for 2 years or 3 years or so on. Okay, really, really, really interesting. Okay, the way we can achieve compliance from SharePoint. Okay, to make sure you hold the information for a couple of years, to make sure you archive the information to a different location, or to make sure you kind of delete the information. That could be an entire site, or could be, a specific file or any file from a particular, document library. Really nice. And, as you might know already, of course, part of the compliance to make sure, the information don't leave our organization. And then what you can do is basically make sure our internal users, they don't share any kind of information, any SharePoint file or site or information with external users. Okay, and then if you've never done, just do a bit of more research on the external sharing on SharePoint, and then you can, block domains, you can block everything. In this case, because I'm not happy to allow any sharing, I just did a quick test. I tried to share a file with a lady called Anna Smith, and eventually, of course, because not available, that thing, didn't work. Anyway, guys, SharePoint easily, we could keep talking about that for the next 3 or 4 days. But later on, when Sheldon send my presentation to you, yeah, please go back and go kind of slow, review my slides. And if you go step by step from my slides, you will be able to build your own kind of, configuration to implement a bit of compliance on SharePoint. And then, yeah, sorry, we are a little bit late. Now I have a couple of slides to talk about Exchange, okay? And then a couple of things you might be kind of looking to implement on your organization. The first one could be to disable, okay, the import export, especially the export, because of course I don't want anybody, any end user, to eventually go to the Outlook, click on export, take a full export from his or her mailbox, stick on a kind of USB, a pen drive, and then walk away with that information. Yeah, in order to do that, basically two steps. Okay, first you need to download something called Office 2016 or 2013 or 2010 administrative templates. And then actually 3 steps. The second step is missing here, should be import that template into your Active Directory Grow policy. And then finally, okay, you will see the options to kind of remove any possibility for users to import or export PST files. Okay, and then basic job done. Of course, you can apply that grow policy for everybody, for some users, for some groups. You know, it's kind of big flexibility, okay, on that. The other thing we can do with SharePoint, Exchange now, okay, is to implement the retention policy. And then, yeah, kind of based on the idea is we have 3 different policies, okay, here, tags. Okay, the tag is, for example, any email older than a year, I want to move to the, I want to archive. Okay, any email older than 7 years, I want to delete. Okay, and then if you do that configuration using the policy tag, it applies for the entire mailbox. Okay, if you want to target a particular default folder, for example, no, this tag, this action should be only for the emails on the inbox, or only from the junk mails, or only to the send mails, and so on. And then let me just quickly show you. Guys, if you go to the Exchange console, okay, yeah, there you go. Here are the tags, okay, you can create. There are some of them already there, okay. For example, you have a permanent delete or permanent archive or permanent, move things. And then eventually, when you have a couple of tags, you basically put them, here are the actions, guys, okay, just set a name. Okay, what you want to do? When eventually, I don't know, a year has passed, what you want to do? Delete information or move to the recycle bin, permanent delete the information, or move to an archive. Okay, that's the way to do. And then, the next step is basically build the policy, okay, with a couple of tags, because, you might want to do different things for different folders. Set up here, for example, in my case, I created something called New Horizons sales policy. And then, guys, the next step is basically easy enough. Just go select the mailbox. Okay, and then you need to go into the mailbox feature and then apply the retention policy. And then job done. Okay, whatever, it will count to be auto delete or auto move, auto archive, and things like that. Okay. Anyway, that's that's the way to do. Other feature you might be interesting to implement is I don't want anybody to basically auto forward emails to an external recipient. The way to go is if you go to mail flow, and then here on the top you need to go to the remote domain. Of course, here you could have a couple of remote domains, the default or a couple of other ones, and then there is this option here. Okay, allow automatic forwarding, and then if you untick that option, that button, basically users won't get automatic forward. They won't get emails leaving the organization. Can be something very nice. If you are dealing with Exchange Server, probably you've done that before, but of course in these days, let's say everybody pretty much have smartphones, and then what you can do, if you go to the mobile tab, okay, go to the mobile device, and here you can set the active sync policy. Because of course, guys, it doesn't make any sense for you as an Exchange admin to allow an employee to be able to synchronize all the company emails into a mobile if there is no password in that mobile, if there is no kind of auto lock on that mobile, or maybe if the mobile is not encrypted, and things like that. Of course, there are other third-party tools you can use to give you, to give you a bit of more flexibility. But otherwise, out of the box, built-in, ready to go from Exchange server is, yeah, just go to the mobile, set a policy, and then of course you can have different policies, and then you can assign different policies to different users to kind of, increase or decrease the configuration, the security. When you have the policy, and then just assign to the user, okay? And one more thing here you can do as well, called litigation hold. Okay, maybe, I don't know, one of the employees is kind of, acting a little bit weird, and the guy might be kind of leaving the company or something kind of, is not looking good. What you can do, there are other ways to do that, but anyway, if you go to recipient, go to mailbox, pick, whatever you are looking for. If you go to mailbox feature and just click on enable, and then what you can do is basically lock, okay, put the entire mailbox in hold, okay? Eventually, if the user, let's say, is about to leave the organization and goes to his mailbox and delete all send email, delete all the emails, kind of, try to do a bit cleanup, it actually doesn't delete, okay? For the end user, it seems to be kind of, getting rid of the information, but from the Exchange mailbox point of view, everything is still there. Okay, and that's a kind of easy way to make sure a particular mailbox is not, is put in hold. The second option you can do that is to use the e-discovery, and then, for example, search for any email with a particular wording or a particular subject, and then when that information is found, make sure to put in hold. Okay, yeah, we can achieve that doing the e-discovery, or in this case, you can kind of lock, the whole thing. Yeah, and then, you can say here, yeah, I want to make sure that a mailbox is locked for the next year, okay, for, whatever is the amount of days you are looking for. Okay, and then guys, if you're looking to create the data loss prevention, as quickly I told you before, okay, I want to make sure my users are not able to send an email with a kind of credit card details. Yeah, there you go. You can do from here. Okay, just go to the Exchange, click on compliancy, and then go to the data loss prevention, and then build all the rules from here. But as you can see, okay, the idea is maybe not do from here, do from the Office 365 security and compliancy, because that's better, is more powerful, because you can do whatever the rules that will apply not only for Exchange Server, but it will apply as well for OneDrive, for Skype for Business, for all the other kind of big products, okay, running on Office 365. And I think, guys, I think that's it. Yeah, sorry for the delay. I think I put too many things here for you, but hopefully now, okay, you can walk away with a better understanding from the kind of Exchange and SharePoint and Office 365, a better understanding how some features work if you're looking to implement compliancy. And yeah, now Sheldon will paste a quick